I now call the General Committee meeting to order. The meeting's being held electronically and in person in accordance with the Municipal Act, and I'd like to welcome our student mayors, Kenshin Rivera, representing Monsignor Clare Catholic Elementary School, and Olivia Golklitz, representing Ferndale Woods Elementary School, to tonight's General Committee meeting. I'm sorry we're starting an hour and 27 minutes late, and thank you for tuning in with us. The first item on the agenda is the consent agenda, and before we get to that, we'll just go over to the committee reports, which would be the Finance and Responsible Governance from April 9th. So I'm going to go to Councillor Harvey, if you could provide the summary.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Nuttall. Committee met. 3 of the 4 members of committee were present, along with several members of council and 14 staff. First, we had an open delegation by Cesare Bacco, who is on behalf of Centerville Homes, and that was a presentation in regards to a request for deferral of development charges in relation to one of their properties. There was also, moving on to section B of that same committee report, their formal request, along with a request from second developer in Ward 6 at Harvey Road and Beacon Road, had also put in for a deferral or DC deferral, and those matters were deferred back to staff. Then moving on to we had a short presentation from our investment management board in regards to an update on the 2024 markets. And through that presentation, it showed that our group was doing extremely well. The portfolio over the past year had a return of 8.28%. Over the past 2 years, it was 8.6%. And then looking over a little larger time frame, 4 years, it was at 5.04%. The cumulative performance in 2024 was at 36.7%. And they also highlighted that equities have done far better than bonds. And our last year, the bonds were at 4%, whereas the S&P TX was at 22%, and the S&P 500 was at 36%. So it just goes to show you how well our group has been investing the city's money. And then another section of it was just receiving their report. Then there was 2 items on the agenda from Redwood Park Communities in regards to DCs also, and that has been deferred to our next Finance Committee meeting, which is going to be on April 30th. And then the last thing was receiving the International Relations Committee minutes, and that was from their meeting on March the 4th, 2025. And then there was also one here too with conservation of built heritage community improvement plan, and that too was deferred to the April the 30th meeting. And that is my report.
Thank you for the update, Councillor Harvey. And we're now going to move to the items that were from committee and then to staff reports for items that can be held or approved. Development charges DC deferral request, Harvey and Beacon Roads, Ward 6. It's approved on consent. FRG2 development charges DC referral request, Serenity Lane, Ward 7. It's approved on consent. Approval of 2024 investment management report, FRG3. It's approved on consent. FRG4, Redwood Park Communities correspondence. Approved on consent. FRG5, memorandum from Michelle Bamfield, Executive Director of Development Services, dated February 19th, regarding Redwood Community CIP funding request, be referred to staff. That's approved on consent. FRG6, conservation of built heritage community improvement plan. Hold. That's held by Councillor Morales. BFES 002-25, Next Generation 911 and Computer Aided Dispatch Replacement Project Update. It's approved on consent. 2025 tax rates. Approved on consent. FIN 005-25. 2024 procurement activity report. Approved on consent. INF 002-25. Surface water treatment plant. Low lift pumping station emergency standby generator.
Hold, please.
Held by Councillor Hamilton. LCS 002-25, Barrie Hydro Holdings, Inc., Annual General Meeting Matters. That's approved on consent. OPR 001-25, 2024 Municipal Stormwater Management System Annual Report. Approved on consent. REC 002-25, follow-up of the Recreation and Sport Community Grant adjudication process. Approved on consent. We're going to go back to Councillor Morales for FRG 6. Councillor Morales, if you can please put the motion on the floor, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor Nuttall. We'll put it on the floor as printed. This one's, Mayor Nuttall, this one's a tough one. Oh, is there a question? No? Oh.
No, sorry.
Sorry. This one's a tough one. We had a conversation, actually, I remember you attending that Heritage meeting where, you know, we are in a local, regional, provincial, national housing crisis. We've got lots of money from different levels of government, way higher than that amount. But, you know, this policy essentially, this motion aims to create a CIP for heritage homes.
Sorry, Councillor, this motion does not. This motion actually refers it to the Finance and Responsible Governance Committee. Or sorry, deferring it for the next.
Okay, I was confused because a lot of these items were deferred by Deputy Mayor Thompson at the previous meeting because we didn't have enough time and then they were here.
So they have to go, once they're deferred there, the minutes of that meeting get adopted and the motions come here to be adopted. So it's not bypassing with the deferral from previous. It's actually enforcing it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. No, I flagged this change. I'm all for change that happened procedurally with how we show agendas from the last term. Okay. I will cease my comment, but I can't retract it from the floor, so I'll just let you take over.
Okay, thank you. I think you want to speak to this when it comes back to the committee. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Perfect. We're on the same page. Sorry about that, Councillor Mouse. Then any other questions or comments with the deferral motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? And it carries. We'll move on to the next item, which is Councillor Hamilton, the surface water treatment plant low lift pumping station emergency standby generator. And the floor is yours after you put it on the floor.
I'd like to put the item on the floor as printed, please. And thank you through your Mayor Nuttall. Just a quick question. I am definitely not an expert in this field, but just was wondering the lifespan of the power generator. So understanding right now we're renting it at a cost of $200,000 a year, but seeing the cost of this new one for almost $4 million that we hadn't planned for or anticipated. And so obviously it's going to impact capital projects in our 2026 budget is a bit alarming because what are we going to cut or what are we not going to do? So just wondering, yeah, the cost of it, is it worthwhile to continue the renting at $200,000 a year because we would get 15 years? So just trying to understand what does that lifespan look like? I'm not sure who I'm asking that to.
Through you, Mayor Nuttall, to Councillor Hamilton, it's a very good question and an astute observation on the finances. What we would say is a permanent generator would typically have a lifespan of about 40 years. And also, in comparing the temporary to the permanent installation, there's a couple of features that would be included in the permanent that's not in the temporary, only because the temporary is intended to be temporary. So that's one of the reasons why the capital cost of the permanent installation is so much higher, because we would incorporate features such as automatic controls, more permanent wiring with the permanent installation, whereas with the temporary installation, you almost have wires that are kind of currently just connected in the parking lot, so to speak. even though the temporary installation is a safe installation, it's not intended to last many, many years.
Okay, thank you for that. I was assuming that was the answer, but I did just want to ask the question just to understand because, yeah, it's a big chunk of change that we're looking at, but get that it's warranted. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions on this? Okay, and I want to thank staff for bringing this forward. One of the things that we are held liable for personally as directors of the corporation is related to water. That was one of the changes after Walkerton, and ensuring that we have the right backup in place for an emergency. We saw what happened in Aurelia. It was a live situation, not at a water treatment plant, at a wastewater treatment plant, but the same rules apply. And so I think this makes a lot of sense when you're looking at the lifespan of it. It also makes a lot of sense to make sure that we are covering every base when it comes to safe and clean drinking water in the city of Barrie. So it's always good to ask questions. It's always good to go into these things. At the end of the day, I think that it is a proper investment, and that's what it is. So I'll call the vote. All those in favor? It carries. That was a long one. We're not going to take inquiries or announcements here, but we are going to do the circulation list from April 16th. Are there any items on the list from the 16th of April? Perfect. So we're going to go right to adjournment, and we're going to come back at 8. How long do you need, Madam Clerk? 5 minutes. Okay, 8:45. We will reconvene into City Council.